A middle-aged couple named Paul and Aubrey are driving to their rural house. Paul informs her that their neighbor Eric recently dumped his wife for a co-ed named Talia as they pass by their neighbor's home. They step inside their country house, a grand estate that is well hidden deep in the forest. Audrey notices a sound coming from upstairs as they are unloading. Paul then bursts into the dining room where she was setting up, startling her. He denies being upstairs at the time she inquires about it. He simply dismisses her concern and remarks that the home is creaking when she assumes there is someone above. They suddenly pick up another sound. While he goes up to investigate, Paul sends Aubrey outside. When his son Crispian startles him, he is ready to unlock a closet door in the upstairs bedroom. Crispian inquires as to why his mother is sobbing outside. The closet door creaks open as Paul and Crispian exit the room, showing that someone was indeed hiding inside. Aubrey is being consoled by Erin, Crispian's Australian lover, when Paul and Crispian run into her outdoors. It is eventually discovered that Crispian's two brothers and sister are all present, and the entire weekend is being used as a type of family reunion. The rest will come the next day, but Erin and Crispian are already there. In bed that night, Crispian tells Erin that his family is wealthy and that his father once worked in the marketing division of a big defense contracting firm. The following morning, when Crispian wakes up, he goes downstairs and finds Erin sitting with his brother Drake and Kelly, Drake's wife. Drake makes fun of Crispian for being overweight as a child and comes off as a bit haughty and condescending. Erin enters the kitchen where Aubrey is preparing dinner and inquires as to if she requires assistance. Erin is asked by Aubrey whether she can go to Eric, the neighbor, and borrow some milk. When Erin arrives at the residence, the Dwight Twilley song is playing loudly. The song stops and then resumes as she raps on the door. As Erin knocks on the door, we hear Eric's dead body being pushed up on the couch so that it looks like he's just sitting there. She returns to the residence after not hearing back. Later that evening, the rest of the family shows up. Amy, the younger sister, and her boyfriend, Tarek, a documentary filmmaker. Felix, Crispian, and Drake's elder brother also shows up with his girlfriend Z, a melancholy goth lady. Paul raises a glass in celebration of the family's reunion as everyone gathers around the table for dinner. Drake then asks Crispian how he and Erin met and begins making fun of Tarek's movies, alleging that he prefers making advertisements over making actual movies. Erin was formerly his TA, but she stopped when they started dating, according to Crispian, a teacher and professor. When Crispian overhears Drake murmuring under his breath, "It was unprofessional," a fight starts. The rest of the family soon joins in, and arguments quickly break out. Tarek glances out the window in the midst of everything and notices something. He leaves the table and walks over to the window. Tarek is suddenly struck straight in the forehead by an arrow that crashes through the glass. At first, no one pays attention until they see Tarek stagger, then collapse to the ground with the arrow protruding from his head. Everyone fell to the ground and ran for shelter as more arrows pierced the glass panes. Aubrey stands up in the midst of the fear, and Drake starts to shove her aside just as another arrow pierces the glass, striking Drake in the shoulder. While they attend to Drake's wound, the family exits the dining room. To call 911, everyone checks their phones, but none of the phones are functional. Whoever it is, Felix suggests, might be jamming the communications. Erin picks up her phone and texts 911, telling them she understands they need to react, but isn't sure whether they will have a good signal. One of them will go outside and attempt to reach one of the automobiles. They decide to volunteer Amy. Crispian advises Amy to get a head start as he and Paul unlock the doors at the last second to surprise the murderers. Amy sprints towards the door. When the doors are opened, she manages to exit, but is fatally struck by a piece of piano wire that has been laid out horizontally in front of the door. As being pulled back inside to safety, the family helplessly watches as Amy bleeds to death as the wire slashes her jugular. After seeing her daughter's death, Aubrey cries. After running upstairs to look around and discovering nobody there, Erin suggests they put Aubrey to bed. As he puts Aubrey to sleep and exits the room, locking the door behind him, Paul consoles her. A figure clothed in all black and with a fox mask creeps out from under the bed while Aubrey sobs uncontrollably. Fox Mask takes out a machete and strikes Aubrey in the head, killing her as she cries out in pain. When the rest of the family hears Aubrey scream, they all run upstairs and discover her dead body with the words, "You're next," written in her blood on the wall. When Paul collapses, his sons assist him back downstairs. Kelly finds the window is open when she climbs into Aubrey's bedroom to find her dead. After closing the window, she hears noises inside the space. She notices Fox Mask when she looks under the bed. Kelly bolts from the room in terror and dashes outdoors. Drake pursues her, but hits the piano wire with the back of the arrow sticking out of his shoulder, making him incredibly uncomfortable. He pulls the arrow from his shoulder by grabbing the end of it, knocking him unconscious. Drake is dragged back inside the house by Crispian and Erin. Then, Crispian informs Erin that he will seek assistance and guarantees his return. Through the woods, Kelly dashes and finds Eric's home. She cries for entry and slams her hands on the back windows when she sees Eric relaxing on his couch. However, since Eric is dead, he doesn't reply. The reflection of a man wearing a tiger mask appears behind Kelly as she keeps banging on the glass. She turns around, just as someone throwing her through the glass while wearing a tiger mask. Tiger Mask pulls out a maul, places his foot on Kelly's neck, and rams the maul into Kelly's head, while Kelly, bleeding and hurt, starts to crawl on the ground. Then, Tiger Mask removes Kelly's maul from her head and sits down next to Eric's corpse while gazing at Kelly's lifeless body. Erin returns home and enters the kitchen to get weapons. She takes a kitchen knife. A man wearing a lamb mask jumps through the window as she is passing by and snatches her by the hair. Lamb Mask is pinned against the wall while Erin tries to escape by stabbing it in the hand. Erin grabs a meat pounder while Lamb Mask cries, and she proceeds to retrieve another weapon. Lamb Mask is gone when she turns back to the window. Back in the living room, Erin locates Felix and Z and is about to give them guns when another window blows out, sending Erin flying to the ground and forcing her to drop all of the weapons. As Tiger Mask enters the house with the axe, she glances up and notices that Kelly's corpse was used to shatter the glass. Erin dodges it just in time as he elevates and smacks it down on her. Then Erin grabs the meat pounder and kicks Tiger Mask in the groin. After knocking Tiger Mask to the ground with a knee strike, she uses the meat pounder to smash him to death. Tiger Mask lies dead on the ground, surrounded by his own blood and brains, while Felix and Z stare in terror. Asking Felix and Z if they are familiar with Tiger Mask, Erin reveals his face. They both respond, no. Erin speculates that there are at least 2 additional attackers, one of whom is undoubtedly inside the home. When Paul hears this, he grabs a knife and goes back upstairs to exact revenge for his wife's passing. When Erin realizes he has vanished, Felix and Z offer to go retrieve him in his place. After Felix discloses that there are extra tools, guns down there, Erin goes below to the basement. Fox Mask follows Paul as he hunts upstairs for the other attacker. A sleeping bag, bottled water, and even a bottle of pee are discovered when Paul checks the closet from earlier. These items indicate that someone has camped out in the closet for several days. When Felix and Z try to persuade him to return downstairs, they frighten him. Just as Fox Mask emerges from the corner and slashes Paul's throat with the machete, Paul informs them that they are being targeted and that this wasn't a random act of violence. Felix and Z observe Paul's protracted, bloody, and torturous death without showing any emotion. Following Paul's passing, Fox Mask approaches Felix and Z. Felix queries Fox Mask over his actions in their presence. The attacker's affiliation with Felix and his desire for the inheritance, which is worth millions, are then made clear. When Lamb Mask descends the stairs, he discovers Tiger Mask lying lifeless on the floor. In a fit of rage, Lamb Mask flips the dining room table over and screams. Erin returns upstairs after hearing his screaming and picking up a screwdriver. Lamb Mask, who is zealously seeking retribution, corners Drake as he awakens from the cries. Just as Erin enters the room, he moves closer to Drake with the machete and stabs Lamb Mask in the back. With the screwdriver still lodged in his back, Lamb Mask yells in agony before bolting out the front door. Drake is informed by Erin that he passed out. Erin replies that she doesn't know where Kelly is when he asks about her, and she doesn't want to tell the truth. Re-entering the chamber, Felix and Z both claim that they did not discover anything upstairs. Then, Erin instructs Drake and Felix to gather more weapons in the basement so that she and Z may create booby traps. Then, Erin and Z take some boards, nail some nails into them, and place them beneath the windows that aren't covered so that anyone entering will trip on a nail. Z inquires as to the source of Erin's strategies. Erin admits that she had an odd upbringing and that her father went insane when she was a little child, forcing the family to relocate to the Australian outback, where Erin was essentially reared in a survivalist community. Z picks up one of the boards as Erin tells this, and is about to hammer some nails into her when she turns around and pauses. Drake learns from Felix below that Kelly has passed away. Drake cries out to his brother, who then stabs him in the chest with 5 screwdrivers while screaming for him to die. When Erin inquires about Paul, Z replies that he is upstairs and doing well. Z offers to check on him instead of Erin, who wants to go up and do that. They can go up together, Erin says. Z reconsiders and claims that she feels safer below. Z walks to the basement to meet Felix, while Erin goes upstairs. Erin discovers Paul's body upstairs and is abruptly cornered by Fox Mask. She jumps from the second-story window since she has nowhere else to go and lands hard on the ground below as a piece of glass pierces her left leg. As Erin hobbles off into the woods, Fox Mask watches from the second story. Fox Mask is introduced to by Felix and Z, who explain what's wrong. He orders Fox Mask to find Erin and kill her, but Fox Mask claims he is faster and stronger than Erin and is not in a rush to complete the task. Fox Mask is reminded by Felix that he is being paid well. Z forces Felix into the bed and tries to start intercourse next to Aubrey's corpse while Fox Mask leaves the room. Felix declines since he's not feeling it. Z claims that he never wants to do anything fascinating, which disgusts Felix. Z snatches a ring from Aubrey's corpse as Felix exits the room. In order to remove the shard from her leg, Erin hobbles up to a tree and whips out a little flashlight. When she turns with the flashlight after hearing a disturbance, she sees Lamb Mask coming towards her with a crossbow. She dodges just in time and runs back to the home as he fires. Erin squeezes through a broken window and ducks behind a curtain. The same open window is crawled through by Lamb Mask, who avoids the boards with the sticking nails, but misses the board that is positioned closer to the windowsill and steps on a nail. As Felix, Z, and Fox Mask enter the living room, Lamb Mask yells in pain. The nail is removed from Lamb Mask's foot. Felix laments that Lamb Mask's DNA was left on the carpet when he bled. Enraged, Lamb Mask takes Felix and throws him against the wall while yelling that Erin killed his brother, Tiger Mask. Felix asserts that he was unaware that they were brothers. He only knew that they had served together, suggesting that the attackers are all former soldiers who may be employed by the family's lucrative defense firm. Even though he is terrified, Felix responds to Lamb Mask's threat by saying that no one will benefit from his death because he will be the only one to inherit the entirety of his family's estate, indicating that he murdered Drake. Nevertheless, he makes the offer to provide Lamb Mask and Fox Mask extra money as soon as the bequest is received. All of this is being heard by Erin, who is concealed behind the curtain, when suddenly her phone starts to beep. Everyone looks up as Erin struggles with the phone and reveals that her previous text message to 911 has been received, indicating that the police are on their way. Fox Mask grabs the machete and moves over to the curtains to kill Erin when Felix agrees to pay the other attackers more. Without brandishing a weapon, Erin lifts her fists and punches Fox Mask in the throat when he opens the curtains. As Erin leaves the house, Foxmask grabs his throat and begins to choke. She enters the house through a second open window after leaving through the outside. She is pursued by Felix Z. Foxmask, who has recovered from the throat punch, and Lamb Mask, dragging his injured foot. Foxmask gave the crossbow to Felix, who then divided up with Z and Foxmask to look for Erin. Once outside, Lamb Mask sees the other open window and slowly moves toward it with the axe in hand. Erin uses a screwdriver to stab him in the skull, killing him and snatching the maul as he pokes his head through the window. Erin places the maul over the front entrance, secures it to a chair with a brick and some yarn, and sets up a booby trap within the house so that when the door is opened, the axe swings down and kills anyone who enters. She observes Foxmask entering the house as she completes setting up the trap. She expects him to open the front door, so she's taken aback when he comes in through one of the open windows. Erin descends to the basement and destroys all the lights there. She programs her digital camera to shoot a lot of shots automatically, using the flash each time. Only the camera's flashes are providing any illumination when Foxmask approaches the basement. Erin grabs a piece of wood and hits Foxmask over the head as he moves toward the camera. She then flees the basement after killing Foxmask with the block of wood. She cautiously enters the living room after leaving it and picks up a dropped knife, failing to see that Felix is standing outside the home with a crossbow and has her in his sights. As the arrow pierces the glass, she detects something and turns to the right. She appears to be hit and collapses. To reach Erin, Felix and Z squeeze through a window. Z goes into the kitchen and fights with Erin, who wasn't struck by the arrow. Erin receives a knife wound to the shoulder from Felix after he arrives. Felix's cell phone rings as Erin takes a blender, smashes the glass over his head, throws the exposed blades on top of him, ties the cord around his neck, and plugs the blender into the wall. Erin is bleeding and fatigued as she sits next to the bodies of Felix and Z. As soon as the blender starts, its blades pierce Felix's head and kill him. As Erin takes the knife from her shoulder and stabs Z in the head, killing both of them, Z watches in despair. Erin, who is worn out and wounded, is sitting close to Felix and Z's bodies when she hears Felix's cell phone call. She picks up the phone and answers the call without saying anything. On the other end, Crispian can be heard asking Felix if the fight is done. Crispian walks into the house and carries on a conversation with the person she thinks is Felix until she turns a corner and discovers Erin standing there with a knife in one hand and a cell phone in the other. Erin admits that she killed both Felix and Z when Crispian inquires about them. Crispian offers to pay off Erin's student loans, allow her to stop working as a bartender, take a vacation, etc., while attempting to explain that he was involved in the scheme, but only because he was poor. He makes an effort to justify what happened by saying that she wasn't ever intended to be hurt. He gently approaches her, telling her that either she becomes wealthy or he ends himself in jail. He bleeds profusely after being stabbed in the neck behind the ear by Erin, who subsequently kills him by stabbing him in the eye. Dead, Crispian collapses to the ground. Erin is shot in the shoulder as she prepares to walk away and collapses to the ground. Unsure of what he did or what he has witnessed, a young police officer stands close to one of the open windows holding his smoking revolver. The officer returns to the patrol car and radios dispatch to get backup and an ambulance because they mistakenly believe Erin may be to blame for all of the murders. He then swings open the front door and heads inside. Erin, who has very little power, cries for the constable to turn around and come in another direction as the maul smacks into the policeman's face. Please subscribe for more and hit the notification button.